Hi class, this is Dr. Karsten, and today I want to review the lesson that we did in class. This was from grade 4, unit 1, lesson 2, session 2. And in this lesson we started off with this problem. So in this problem it says compare 1,492 and 1,536. So remember that the first thing that we always want to do when we want to compare two numbers is we want to stack them. This just means put one on top of the other. When we do that, we have to be really careful and make sure that we are lining them up perfectly so that our ones digit is over our ones digit and our thousands digit is over our thousands digit. A really great way to do this is to make sure that you line up your commas. So I'm going to go ahead and write our two numbers, 1,492, and the other number is 1,536. So we did the first step. We stacked them. And you can see my ones are over my ones, my commas are over my commas, my thousands are over my thousands, my tens over my tens, the hundreds over hundreds. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to start with the digits that are in the greatest place value. So we want to start in the greatest place value, which is going to be over to the left. So in this case, this is our greatest place value, and those are the thousands. So let's go ahead and take a look at our thousands and compare them. So if I look at my thousands, what I can see is that they're the same. There's nothing different about them. They're exactly the same. They're both ones. That's not going to help me compare things. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the next place value, which for this problem is the hundreds. And when I look at the hundreds, what I can see is that I have a 4 and a 5. I know that you all know that 4 is less than 5. But it's not good enough for us to tell someone that 4 is less than 5 because these are in the hundreds place value. So this 4 is not really 4, it's 400. Because it's in the hundreds place, it's 400. And this 5 is really 500. So what we want to do is we want to show that we know that these are 400 and 500. And I bet you also know that 400 is less than 500. There's two ways you can show this. One is to write that 400 is less than 500. Another way you could write this is to say that 4 hundredths is less than 5 hundredths. And when I'm doing that, all I'm doing is I'm saying that I know I have a 4 and a 5, but I also know that they're in the hundreds place. So remember also, I want to really quickly remind you about alligator eats the smaller number. You gotta be kidding me. I can't believe I just said that. The alligator eats the bigger number. I was just looking at this, and that's what made me misspeak for a second. But let me remind you of this. So I could go ahead and I can draw an alligator. And then I want to add in, he's a hungry alligator, so he has some teeth, has an eye and a nose. And remember, the alligator always eats the bigger number. See how his mouth is open, facing to the right? That means the bigger number would have to be over here, just like here. The alligator's eating the bigger number. His mouth is going to open to the number that is always greater. Okay, so you can see here it's open to the 500, it's open to the 500ths. Now, the final step for this part of this would be to go ahead and show that you know that the two numbers, how they compare. So I'm going to go ahead and write those. So I have my 1,492, and that is less than 1,536. All right, so again, what we do first is we stack them. We line them up carefully while we're stacking, and then we always start with the digits, the place value that is the largest. Those are going to be the numbers, the digits way over on the left. So you want to go as far left as you can. So we're starting on the left, and then we compare them. If they're the same, they're not helping us to compare. They're not helping us to see what's different. Then we would move over to the next one. And here you can see 5 was greater than 4, so 5 hundredths is more than 4 hundredths, or 500 is greater than 400. Which means that this number is greater than that one. And again, they are asking us, always go back and check, did I answer the question? They said, which number is greater? So my answer is that 1,536 is greater. Now for this problem, they did not ask us to explain. We're done. We're good. In other problems, they're going to ask us to explain a little bit more information. All right, so let's go ahead. And I believe the way these are is that they flip. Okay, so here's our next problem that we did together. It says that there were 23,643 fans at a football game last week, and that there were 23,987 fans at a football game this week. Which game had fewer fans? Pay attention to that. We are so used to being asked which has more, which has more. We always think more is better. But in this case, they are asking us for fewer. Some of you might want to do this. This is a really great idea, and I've done this with my students in the past. If there's an unusual question, if it's asking something reverse, I'll put a star to remind myself so that at the end I'll see that star, that asterisk, and it'll tell me, hey, there was something unusual here. Make sure you answered it correctly. All right, so first step, we're going to stack our two numbers. So I'm going to take this number, 23,643, and I'm going to take that number, 23,987. Now I want to remember which ones each of these are. So 23,643 was last week. So I'm going to just put last, W, and this is this week. And you can see this week. Okay. So we did our first step. We lined them up carefully. Ones over the ones, tens over the tens, hundreds over the hundreds, thousands over the thousands, 10,000s over the 10,000s. So we're good. Commas over the commas. So now let's start comparing them. So remember, we start with the greatest place value, which is go left. So here I'm going to start in the 10,000s. So we have our 10,000s. They're the same, not helping me. I'm going to move one over. I'm going into the thousands. They're the same, not helping me. I'm going to move over one to the hundreds. And here I can see that 9 is greater than 6. But remember, that's just for us to know that 9 is greater than 6, right? It's bigger. So what I really need to focus on is that this is 600s, and these are 900s. So I could say 900s, or again, I could write 900 is greater than 600s. So either one of these would be fine. You do have to include these. So while we know 9 is greater than 6, you have to think about what's the value of those. Look at their place value. They're in the hundreds. All right, and now what I just have to do is I have to show these numbers. I have to show how I found this. So now what do I know? I know that 23,987 is greater than 23,643. Did you notice that we never went past those hundreds? Once you find your difference, you're good. You don't have to do that. Now, I didn't do the last step. I have to answer the question. And oh, look, I have an asterisk reminding me that there's something tricky about this question. They're looking for fewer. So which one was the fewest? Which one had the fewer? Which one had the least or less? This one, 23,643. 23,643, which was last week. So I could say last week had fewer fans. And if you wanted to say, give me the number of fans, that would be great too. All right, so we answered the question. Let's keep on going. So again, like I said, I think these are flip pages. So, oh yeah, that's right. This is part of the whole slideshow, so I have all of these. So we already did those. So let's take a look at this slide right here. So in this slide, it says you can use a place value chart to compare multi-digit numbers. When the numbers are in a place value chart, it's easy to look down the columns and compare the digits. Start at the greatest place value. And again, that's something that I've been saying over and over. Start at the greatest place value. That's going to be over to the left. That's going to be the 10,000s. Remember, if you have $10,000 in your pocket, that's a lot more than 1 or even 1,000. Okay, so now here, what we're going to do is we're going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to start in the place value chart. 2 is the same as 2. That didn't help me. 3 is the same as 3. That didn't help me. 6 is less than 9. That's a difference. That helped me. So remember, if they're the same, it doesn't help us to know who's bigger and smaller. 3's also, these are the same number, doesn't help us, but here where we have a difference, it helps us. And here you can see how they wrote 600s are less than 900s. And then it goes on to say the 10,000s digits are the same, which is what I just said. The thousands digits are the same, but the hundreds digits are different. So compare in the hundreds place. Okay, so another strategy that you can use is that you can actually go ahead and you can pull these into expanded form. And then you can compare them. So you can see that we took that from the 2 in the 10,000s place. 2 10,000s would be 20,000. 3,000s would be 3,000. 600 would be 600. 4 10s would be 40. And 3 would be 3. I want to remind you of that little sneaky thing that we do sometimes just to check our work. Remember that if I want to know what this place value is worth or what the value of that 2 is, I can bring it down and I can make everything to the right a 0. And I can do the same thing for that 3. Bring it down, make all the other digits zeros. Then I'm going to bring that 6 down, and that 4, and that 3. And you would just add these all together and you would get this exact same thing. So again, I just wanted to remind you of that little algorithm almost that we're using, a little shortcut here to help us out. All right, so now you can compare the numbers place by place. So if you take a look, the 10,000s are all the same. So we have 20,000 and 20,000. The thousands are the same, 3,000 and 3,000. But the hundreds are different. We have 600 and 900. And that's where this comes from, right there. 600 is less than 900. And that's how you would then solve your problem. So now you would know 23,643 is the lesser amount. Because again, that's what they were looking for. Okay, so this was the next page. Oh, and there's some of our writing from the smartboard. So let's really quickly take a look at these problems. So it says, now you'll use the problem from the previous page to help you understand how to use place value to compare multi-digit numbers. I think what was tricky for some of you was when we got here was going slower step by step. And then also, I think what was tricky was that it was the same problem again. And you were like, wait, why are we doing the same problem? Sometimes we're going to do the same problem a bunch of times. That's part of this. We go deeper with it. All right, so here the first step is they say, write the numbers 23,643 and 23,987 so they line up by place value. So that's the stacking part where we put one on top of the other. So we would go ahead and we would have 23,643 and 23,987. And what did we do? We lined them up by place value, right? So if I wanted to explain it, I could say I lined them up by place value. I placed my ones over my ones, my commas over my commas. Those are all techniques that you could write about. Then it says, in what place value position do you begin comparing the two numbers? We begin comparing the two numbers. So we begin comparing the two numbers. I'm just writing it. Kind of rushing, so you're not sitting there. So I apologize, my handwriting's a little messy. We begin comparing the two numbers in the greatest place value position. And then, I don't know if you remember, but one thing that I did was I kept emphasizing by saying on the left, right? We go way left. Now question 3 says, what is the first place in which the numbers are different? So remember, when we looked at the 10,000s, they were the same. When we looked at the thousands, they were the same. When we looked at the hundreds, that's where they were first different. So that's why we want to write hundreds here. And then here it just says, explain how to compare the numbers, then write the comparison using greater than or less than. Tell which game had fewer fans. So again, all I did here was write a number sentence. I'm going to rewrite it a little more neatly. So I'm going to write a number sentence. I'm going to take that smaller number, 23,643. I'm going to take that larger number, 23,987, and I'm going to make the alligator eat the larger number. Boom, boom. Okay, and then it says which game had fewer fans? Last week's game, right? The game from last week. So we could say this, 23,000, oop, I'm going off the page, 643 has fewer fans. Or again, last week's game had fewer fans. All right, let's keep going. We had some more fun problems here. So here, you just have to say which way you like to do it best. Do you like to stack it and compare them? Do you like to use a place value chart? Do you like to use expanded form? That's up to you, whichever one you like best. You just have to tell us why. All right, really quick, here we go. There are 2 baby macaw parrots at a zoo. Zeke has a mass of, so let me underline this. Zeke has a mass of 1,582 grams. Tao has a mass of 819 grams. Which bird has a greater mass? And then it says use greater than, less than, or equal to write a comparison, show your work. So for this one, again, I am going to go ahead and I am going to stack them. I'm going to line them up. So Zeke has, so I'm going to do Zeke, and Zeke has 1,582. Tao has 819. Now this one, I hope that you noticed that the 2 numbers have a different amount of place value. That this one goes all the way up to the 1,000, but this one stops in the hundreds. I have to line them up carefully. Ones over ones, tens over tens, hundreds over hundreds. There's no 1,000 in this one. So what happens? I'm still going to start all the way to the left. For this problem, it's in the thousands place. And I'm still going to look here. But since there's nothing right there, 1 is greater than having nothing, in absence of any numbers. There are no thousands in 819, 0 thousands in that. So what I know is that 1 is greater than 0. Or what I could say is that 1,000 is greater than no thousands. I'm just looking to make sure I'm not going off the page. So 1,000 is greater than no thousands. Oops, sorry. Let me make sure I don't lose my volume. And so since I know that, I now know that this number, 1,582, is greater than 819. So, hold on, let me see. I'm checking to see which bird has a greater mass. So Zeke has the greater mass. And then we did this already, right here. We showed our work. So I think we are good. Good job. So let's go to the next page. Let's see what we have next. So here it says, write the symbol that makes the statement true. Show your work. Please, please, please. I mean, this one's pretty easy, but you should still do the work. Stack them and show your work. So I'm going to take that one, 91,146. And now I have 908,043. If you always go through the process, you're not going to make a silly mistake. So you can see I stacked everything correctly. And I'm going to start with my place value, the farthest to the left, the greatest place value. And you can see I have a 9 compared to nothing, which means that this one is the larger number. And the alligator's going to eat it. So let's take a look at the next page. All right, it says which statements correctly compare two numbers. So, while I am certain that many of you can just look at them, I still think it's a good idea to do the process so that you always get it right. So I'm going to stack them. So this is A. I just copied them. And now I can go same, same, same. Oh, here's where it's different. So this guy is definitely bigger, right? So we can see that now. So he is wrong. And he is wrong because look, I have 6 tens versus 4 tens, right? 4 tens is clearly less than 6 tens. So that symbol was wrong. All right, let's look at the next one. So this is going to be B. Ooh, give me 1 second, friends. All right, so for B, I'm going to stack them again. So I have 37,064. I'm going to compare that to 37,046. And again, same, 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 different. So again, the tens are different. And now it seems to be reversed. I know that 6 tens are greater than 4 tens. So this one is the bigger one. So let me go ahead and see. 6 tens is bigger than 4 tens right there. So this one, though, again, they're saying that this one is less than that one. That's tricky. Look at that. They flipped the numbers. They just flipped the numbers. They went boom, boom. And they flipped the signs, too. Tricky. Don't let them trick you. All right, next one. Let's take a look at C. So for C, we have 37,046 and 37,064 again. Again, same, 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 different. And this guy wins because he's bigger. So now let's go see if they said that. Did they say that this one with the 6 is bigger than this one with the 4? And they did. This one is definitely correct. All right, next one. Here we go, D. So let's compare them. So we have 37,064 compared to 37,046. Same, 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 different. Same place, right, in the tens. And now we know that the 6 is bigger again. So let's go see if they said that the 6 was bigger than the 4 in the tens place. And they did. The alligator's eating the bigger number. This one is correct. Oh my, this one I hope you see right away that these are not the same. Look at this. They have different numbers in the tens place. There's no way they could be the same. They can't be equal, but we should still do the process. Especially if you're taking, let's say, a quiz. You need to be really careful and make sure that you don't get tricked on any of these. Something might look great, but it's just put there to distract you. All right, same, 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 different. If they're different, they can't be equal, so that one is wrong. All right, oh, you didn't even see what I just did. Boom, there it is. It's just the same work. Okay. So I think, was that the last page? Yep, that was it. That was the exit ticket. So we are done. All right, so that was from Lesson 2, Session 2, my friends. You guys are doing a great job. I loved working with you on SLS Online. And I will see you in our Google Classroom. Don't worry, I will post the homework soon too. Thank you. Good night.